Hello and welcome to another video tutorial for Paramics Discovery as we build up to the launch of version 25 later this month. My name is Malcolm Calvert, I'm the Director of Paramics Microsimulation, and it's a pleasure to be joining you again today. Now in this video tutorial we're going to be looking at an improvement to a feature which has been in Paramics Discovery for some time, and that is vehicle marking. And we're going to be looking at the ways in which we made it much quicker and easier to use this feature so you can get more out of it more quickly as you use the software. So let's jump straight in to see how this feature now works. I've got a model in front of me which I'm going to be using to demonstrate this vehicle marking feature. So let's start the simulation running in this model and get some traffic loaded on, and then we'll be able to show how the vehicle marking works. Okay, so we're getting some traffic onto the network now, and I'm just going to slow that down so we can see the different movements of vehicles a little bit more easily. So I'm slowing that down to 10 times real time, which is quite a nice speed to watch the simulation at. If I go to the Visualize menu at the top and Vehicle Marking, this is where the original vehicle marking dialog would have lived. If you've used this before, this is where you would have found it. Now, what you might notice from this is that we've simplified it a lot. So we've removed quite a lot of the aspects of that and just made it much simpler, actually easier to maintain in the code. And we've done that by moving a lot of the marking into the Styles panel. So you can see it by opening the Styles panel, looking in marking, and toggling that on. We can now use a drop-down menu to mark 5 different types of vehicle characteristics really quickly. So all you have to do is turn the marking on and then choose any one of those 5, and it immediately marks everything within the network. So it's much quicker than having to set up your own rules within that other vehicle marking dialog. So this first one that we're looking at is demand sets. Now if I go to my Edit Demand tab, I can see that I've got an AM intrapeak and PM, and I've added in an AM development traffic demand set just to illustrate how this works. Now what you're going to see on the screen at the moment is a lot of blue vehicles, and that's because we're modeling the AM period, so we're not going to see any intrapeak or PM traffic. But what I have done is I've added in some what we call development traffic, assuming there's a new development going in this area around zone 17 and zone 20 in the model. And you can see that the AM development traffic is going to be colored in a different color. So I need to just restart the simulation in order to change the demands that I'm going to be selecting here. And from the drop-down menu there, I'm going to add in the AM development demand set as well as the AM demand set. So you have both of those now loading into the network. Again, I'm going to speed the simulation up just to get some traffic on, and then we'll slow it down again and see what's coming out of zone 17. Now if I zoom in, you can now see 2 different types of colored vehicles coming out of zone 17, and that's because we've got some new development traffic coming out of this zone. And so that is being marked alongside the AM traffic, which is our kind of base matrix. And so you're able to see exactly which vehicles are the development traffic and which ones are the base traffic. And you can see it's only going to be trips coming out of zone 17 and 20 and nowhere else in the network. So that's marking vehicles by demand set. The next one is marking vehicles by familiarity. And so there's 2 types of familiarity. There's familiar vehicles and unfamiliar vehicles. So the familiar vehicles, they don't see any difference in the costs of major and minor links in the network. The unfamiliar vehicles do. And so you tend to get the unfamiliar vehicles sticking to signposted routes and more main routes. So in a network like this, where you've got a bit of a difference of major and minor routes, you'll be able to have a quick look at how the unfamiliar and familiar drivers are working. The next one then is queued vehicles, and you can see very immediately as we toggle on queued, we've got red vehicles. Those are the ones that are queued. They're stopped in this case as signals at this roundabout junction, and the green vehicles are free flowing. The next one then is speeds, and this sort of builds on that queuing. So again, you get the red vehicles, which are the lower speeds, and we've got them in 10-mile-an-hour bins, so you can very quickly see where the traffic is slow and congested and where it's moving in a free-flowing way. And so if we have a look at this main road here, and just pause it and select some of the vehicles. You can see that they're green, which means they're going fast. So these vehicles are over 60 or 70 miles per hour on this road. If we took a look at a more of a minor road, so I'll just find that a little bit further up the network here, then we're going to see more yellow, orange and red vehicles, which are either starting to become queued or congested or stopping at junctions, or they're just at lower speed limits like this one, which is 27 miles per hour, and that's the speed limit of the link, which is dictating that speed. And then the final one is vehicle type. And so this is marking the vehicles by their type. So you can see in this case we've got cars and light goods vehicles. It would also be marking heavy goods vehicles and public transport as well. Now we've got two types of cars being marked. We've got this yellow type and the green type. And if we go to our Edit Network tab, we can see the reason for that is that there's an electric vehicle, which is a car type in the model. So in our demand set, in our matrices, we can see here we've got 80% cars and 20% electric vehicles. And so in this model, we've added in a percentage of electric vehicles and we're able to see exactly what they're doing in the network. So this could be really useful if you're wanting to model different types of vehicles. And of course, we know electric vehicles, they're going to be coming more and more onto our road networks. Okay, so that's the 5 different types in the styles panel, which you can access and mark really quickly. Just one drop-down menu there for that. And then back to the vehicle marking dialog. And so we've still got this feature because one of the things that is really useful is marking a from and a to. And this can be done whether it's by link or by zone. So if we say we want to look at vehicles going from zone 6, say onto our network, then we immediately get all the vehicles that are coming from zone 6 highlighted. Now as things stand, that's everything coming from zone 6. It doesn't matter where they're going, they're all going to be marked in that yellow color because that's what we've selected. And you can edit the colors and choose what you want. So we're seeing very clearly everything going from zone 6. Now let's say we wanted to look at a particular origin to destination zone. We can then add in zone 3 here, and then we can look at the vehicles going from zone 6 to zone 3. So this vehicle marking by origin zone to destination zone isn't anything new. This is something that's been in Paramics Discovery for quite a while, so it might well be that you've used this feature before. And if I just try and find a yellow vehicle, I think there's one. Yeah, there's just one there, so I'm just going to zoom in so you can see we've got a vehicle. When I click on that, we can see the origin is zone 6, the destination is zone 3, and that's been marked in the yellow color. Now, zone-to-zone marking has been around for quite a while, but something that is quite new, which I just want to draw your attention to in this video tutorial, is being able to mark from a link to a link. Now, this is really useful at junctions and big junctions like the one that we've got in this network here, because often it's very difficult to tell what the origin zone is or destination zone for these movements, but we can select the link into the junction and the link out of the junction. And then we're able to see exactly the lanes that vehicles are using and how they're moving through that junction. So very useful for checking the choice of lanes and the movements and the paths that the vehicles are using as they go through. So what I'm doing here is I'm just adding in this origin link where we've got 4 lanes on approach, so lots of lanes, lots of lane choice for these different vehicles. And I'm going round the roundabout and adding in the exit links for these different vehicles coming from this one entry link. So we've got the one entry link, which is 1525 to 2369, and these 4 exit links in these 4 different colors. So what you can see there is the 4 different colors on this approach, and you can see them getting into the appropriate lanes as they move through the roundabout. And it's great for checking, are they in the right lanes? Is there some strange lane behavior going on, or is it moving quite nicely? Now, this is a really well calibrated model, so we should see some lovely, smooth, nice lane choice and behavior in this model. But the vehicles still have to negotiate. You can see the green vehicles here, for example, are able to use lane 3 and 4. The yellow vehicles are allowed to use lane 1 and 2. And so we're able to check that as we go through. So it's a nice movement left for all those yellow vehicles. Then we're getting these purple vehicles moving through and then exiting, while the green vehicles stay on and pull off at the next exit. And then we're just left with that pink LGV as it goes towards its destination there. So this link to link marking is very, very useful for checking the lane behavior particularly on quite a complex junction like this, where there's lots of different lane choice. So if you haven't used this before and you're modeling this type of junction, I would really encourage you to try this vehicle marking. It's very, very useful for the calibration process with your models. So thank you for joining us today for this third video tutorial in the series as we build up to the launch of Paramics Discovery 25 at the end of this month. If you haven't seen tutorials 1 and 2, I would encourage you to look them up on our YouTube channel or support center, and we'll be back again next week with another one as we look at more features and improvements coming to the software. Bye for now.